this is Marty with Marty's Diesel, and today I'm actually driving an old body style down the road. Does not have AC, does not have a working door latch, does not have working windows, so I have to rely on that guy right there so I don't overheat. Put close here, don't they? So anyway, a common question that we get is, can you run the T4 modification bag from our kit on a stock turbo? The short answer is yes. The long answer, though, is really relative to what you're going to be doing to the truck. If you're running a stock turbo, you should absolutely run our fuel pump replacement fitting. The factory rear of headlines have served you well for 30 years or more at this point. And basically, the only thing that wears out on them is the actual little Lego donut wheels that go in the actual fitting in the head itself. I'm not really a fan of replacing those lines because they fit so well, they don't rub, they traditionally don't leak, and realistically, the only things that can leak on them are replaceable. Unlike aftermarket lines, which typically don't fit as well, which typically convert you over to something you can't buy anywhere else, which typically also end in a non-Vibralock style connection, these factory lines will continue to serve you well for the next 20 to 30 years if you just replace the seals at the fuel pump replacement fitting and at the heads, at the fittings that go into the heads. So long story short, unless you have a very valid reason as to why you don't want to run the factory turbo with the factory underlines or the lines that go underneath of there, I do not recommend running our T4 modification bag. Our T4 modification bag will require the removal of the turbo. If you use our factory rear of headline setup, which uses our fuel pump replacement fitting, you will not have to remove the turbo in order to perform the install in the old body style e-fuel system. Also, another drawback to installing a T4 mod bag, or anybody's T4 mod bag, or any fitting kit, period, on an old body style or even a Super Duty, is that when you remove the factory fittings and you go to install the new fittings and the old fittings don't actually screw into the head at a perfect 90 degrees. They actually screw in somewhere around like a 70-degree angle. This can actually confuse people, and also it forces people sometimes to try to make that fitting go in at a 90 degree. When this happens, you take a chance on blowing out the back of the head or even cracking the head. There is an illustration, it's on my website, that shows this. So if you need that like in more detail, then I would advise you to go ahead and search that document or illustration up that we have right on the website. But long story short, the T4 modification bag should only be purchased and installed when somebody actually has a T4 turbo kit on their truck, or somebody is planning to put a T4 kit on their truck, but I would recommend that you buy that at the same time as your standard e-fuel kit, like separately though. So basically you would get our standard e-fuel kit with the fuel pump replacement fitting. You would use that until you decide to go to a T4 turbo. Then you run the T4 mod bag. In the very rare case where somebody actually has rear of headlines that cannot be reused, we have two options. One, I can sell you new rear of headlines, or the second option is we can sell you the T4 mod bag and you can use that in place of our factory fuel pump replacement fitting setup. But the overwhelming majority of my customers should be using the fuel pump replacement fitting. They should not be installing new lines underneath the turbo for any reason if they're running the factory turbo. It's not advisable. So hopefully this clears up any confusion that maybe there is with this particular series of products on our website. That's all for now. Thank you.